What's that?
Dave Grohl, how are you, dude?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Welcome to my home. It's
Dude,
great to have you here.
nice Zach guitar right over your head. You know what's crazy? He and I have the same birthday.
Oh, really?
You
What
do?
what days that fall on?
January 14th.
Well, all right, man. Yeah, I've got a lot of 24 years of radio in here, man. So it's, last year and a half working from home. It's been pretty cool. It's been a cool creative environment to be in for the last, year and a half. So
That's rad.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. You can see your face back there, that painting that you did for me years ago.
Where'd you get that crazy like Foo Fighters ray gun thing?
Yeah, so that was it was at a concert, a Foo Fighters show, obviously, and my gal, her mom she did the like garments on the edge, and we turned it into a curtain. So
oh my God, that's so right. You know what my mom actually did one time?
Yeah.
She called me, this is 10, 15 years ago. She called me, she's like, David, what are you gonna do with all your old t-shirts that are in the attic? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, can I make pillows out of them? I'm like, yeah. Awesome. So she took all of like my Pantera shirt, my Sabbath shirt, and like a Ramones shirt, and she stuffed them and made pillows out of them. And we put them down at our studio, and everyone's like, dude, where'd you get these pillows? I'm like, my mom.
Mom, man. Dude, speaking of pillows, does this get weird? Stuff like this get weird?
It's a little strange. We don't have those in my house, that's for sure.
So let's get into it, dude. I'm geeked to talk about this new book of yours. And what's special to me is that I had no idea I was going to talk to you today. I didn't, other than the last couple of days, like, hey, you're going to be doing an interview with Dave. And I'm like, wow, cool. I purchased this book, dude, a year ago. You know what I mean? I got my hands on this because I love your stories and I truly appreciate this.
Thank you.
I don't know. Where does this rank on, things that you've accomplished? Where's this land in your life?
Well, it's nice to have firsts, right?
Sure.
So,
absolutely.
And you always remember the first because, it's a little scary. You're not sure you can do it. And that's the reason why you do it. I think, at least me personally, a lot of the things that I've done in my life, I've done them because I kind of want to prove to myself I can do it.
Sure.
Like I'm not really sure I could jump up on stage at a jazz club and play with a jazz band. I'm not really sure I could like leave Virginia and join a punk rock band and jump in a van for 6 months. I'm not really sure I could, move up to Seattle to someone's house, a stranger, someone I don't know. Like it's kind of the adventure of not knowing and the fear of having never done it before. So with the book thing, it was like, I've written things here and there for magazines, and I love writing to friends, and I enjoy writing. Both of my parents were writers, and so I knew I had it in me. I just never had the time,
Sure. Sure.
And when everything shut down last year, I was like, okay, maybe now's the time. And I made the call. I called my manager. I'm like, hey, do you think I could write a book? He's like, yeah, you could probably write a book. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then it was so much fun. It was so much fun that when I hit send on the last story, I was bummed, dude. I was like,
really? Just because it ended, you had so many more to go, I'm sure.
I mean, listen, the challenge of writing this book wasn't like what to write. It was like what not to write. Because, oh my God, I mean,
of course.
I had this list of 30 or 40 more stories that I was going to write for this Instagram page thing that I started, Dave's True Stories. Like that's how it all started.
Sure.
Just for fun, because the band wasn't doing anything and had all the spare time. So yeah, I was bummed when I hit send on the last one. I'm like, oh dude, first of all, it's just like the tip of the iceberg. But then I was like, well, I kind of want to do it more. So I think I'll do it more.
So you feel like you get pent up creatively if you're not always doing something. If you're not in the studio working on music, you've got to do something. You got to create.
I'm such a spaz. Like you have no idea. Like I wake up in the morning with a new idea and I'll like blast it out to all my friends. Like, oh my God, let's make a record with this person, this person, this person, this person. And then I hit send. And then I like kind of forget about it. And then about 2 weeks later, they're like, okay, we've got the studio booked. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to start another band now.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm always like trying to think of things. Cause I mean, really honestly, first of all, I'm so blessed and fortunate to have the resource and opportunity that I do. Yeah. So I really try to take advantage of it, whether it's making records with Foos or directing documentaries or like writing a book. Like I can do it. It's just a matter of trying to fit it in between all the other stuff. And I like it that way.
And now you're, your daughter's getting older and older, and they're wanting to perform. How's that make you feel? Harper asking you, Dad, teach me how to play the drums, like you read about the first chapter.
Well, it doesn't necessarily surprise me, because here at home there's instruments everywhere and there's music everywhere, and it's just kind of a part of our lives. But then there also is that the X factor, which is DNA. Like, does DNA really play a part in a person's musical ability or their path? And I happen to think that it does. Both of my parents were musicians. My mother was a singer in a cappella groups. My dad was a classically trained musician. So I think that it's like it resides in your DNA zipper somewhere. It's just a matter of you wanting to find it. Like, I would never tell my kids, like, you have to play this instrument and go take lesson. To me, it's more about like letting your heart take you there.
Sure.
And so with Violet, my 15-year-old, she's a great singer, man. And she's been singing since she was strapped in a car seat. And she is the most talented musician this family has ever known by far.
Wow.
She's got the brain, she's got the ears, she's got the pitch, she's got the thing. She'll pick up an instrument, she'll learn it in a week. She's one of those people. Harper's my mini me. And so she's like, hey, Dad, I want to play the drums. I'm like, drums? That's like, you're gonna start there? Okay. And so I just gave her an AC/DC record. I was like, just check out Back in Black. Just do that, And it's in there, but it's not something that's expected of them. But when I see them discovering music, I mean, this is the coolest thing. I'm watching them discover music now. Like, I'm watching a 12-year-old discover Fleetwood Mac, which we sort of take for granted. But to her, it's discovery. She's like, whoa. And I'm watching Violet discover Joni Mitchell, which we have like paid attention to our whole lives. Wow. But she's discovering it now. And it's so inspiring. It's like, I go down and she's listening to like the Misfits, and then she's listening to Joni Mitchell. And I'm like,
very eclectic. That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, they have access to, as if we could just walk into a record store and just pick and choose anything. That's what their musical experience is. That's rad.
So with all these different ideas you had for the book, how did you narrow it down? Is it the best of the best? Is that what we got in this book? Or was it just what inspired you at the time writing? Like, now this has got to be in it.
I'll be totally honest. So when I started that Instagram page, I thought, all right, I'm just going to do this for a while. And I made a list of like 30 or 40 stories that I could write, just silly things and important things and emotional things. And when I signed the book deal, I just took that list and sent it to my editor. And I'm like, okay, you pick. So you assign me what you want me to write.
Sure.
And she would go through the stories and be like, all right, write about, getting hit in the head with a golf club. Write about childhood in Springfield. I'm like, all right. And then she said, all right, write about starting the Foo Fighters. So she would assign these things to me. And, her job, her name's Carrie Thorne, she's a genius. Her job was to basically try, almost like a producer when you're making a record. It's like a producer is like, this song is great, this song is great. Let's put them together in this order, this sequence, so that an album has like side A, side B, beginning, end. And so I was just kind of like blasting out these short stories, going boom, and then sent it to her. And then it started taking shape, just like a record would. And then you realize what you have, what you don't have, what it needs. And at that point, it was like, it started becoming a book, because it's not necessarily in chronological order. It sort of bounces around, but there is an arc to the story. But yeah, I mean, when I was finished, I'm like, that's it? Like, I only have 384 pages? That's it? Come on, let's go.
Yeah. I love the story about Sandy. Obviously you write this story about your first love. Had that been sitting in the back of your head for a long time? Like, I've got to have this in the book. I've got to talk about Sandy. Because I feel like everybody's got that first love story. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I mean, the thing about that story, and so with most of these stories, there's sort of the, there's the anecdotal element, and then there's the emotional element. And the reason why this resonates, or the reason why this is important. So the thing about Sandy, like, I got dumped in 7th grade, broke my heart. I had this dream that I was a rock star and whatever. But the reason why it's important to me is because that was the first time I turned to my instrument to somehow help me through some sort of pain, right? Sure. And I've grown up playing along to music on other people's records and listening to their songs about how they, healing themselves or some sort of pain. But this is the first time I did it myself. And I realized like, oh, okay, maybe this is the love of my life. Maybe this is the one I'll always turn to. This is my best friend. This is my therapist. This is my teacher. This is my father. This is my lover. Like, just have this instrument. And that's really what the story is about. But at the same time, that dream I had when I was 13 or 12, where I was like on an arena stage, like shredding a lead in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is 30 years later, that dream came true.
Yeah.
And, I have to imagine like that there is something to be said for those dreams. And maybe they're not just dreams. Maybe you're manifesting something to actually happen in your life. And you shouldn't be scared of it. You should be like, okay, like I imagined this, I can perceive it, I can achieve it. You know what I mean? Like you could actually do the things that you don't imagine are really possible.
Man, this thing's fantastic. And they're already telling me I got to wrap it up with you here in a few minutes. So I'm going to rapid fire some of my questions here, not just about the books, but or about the book, but I'm saying books too, because I got your Moz here as well, which is
that's a good one too.
So, yeah.
Collect the whole set.
Yeah. Congratulations, dude, on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. And Paul McCartney doing the induction. What's up? That's awesome, man. I thought it was going to be Stuart Copeland, by the way. I thought that was the.
Well, listen, this is a conversation. We had this conversation. But the first time we really had the conversation was on the Howard Stern show. Like we hadn't even talked about that.
Sure.
And then he asked, and I always thought maybe Stuart would be cool because he really was the inspiration behind the idea of the Foo Fighters.
Sure. And Taylor loves them as much as Taylor Hawkins obviously loves them as much as you do. I mean, the whole
my God, like he's the best. So, but then we're honored to have Paul come and hang with us.
He's no slouch.
He's the best hang. That's the thing. He's so much fun to hang with. That's like the best part, just to hang.
Sure. And a quick handful of rapid fire questions, man. How do you stay humble in this cutthroat business? Is there a quick answer to that? How do you do it, man? Your sense of humor is insanely cool. Thank you.
I think you have to really appreciate stuff. And there's good days and there's bad days, and
sure.
It's not always easy, but it's always a blessing to do it. And so I feel really appreciative that I get to do this thing where I play music, and that's basically it. Plus I have 3 kids that think I'm the biggest dork in the world. That kind of helps too.
Well, we think you're cool, so that kind of balances it out a little bit, man. So if you were to perform one song live with Kurt and Krist Novoselic again, any song, doesn't have to be a Nirvana song. If you guys were to perform one song again live, what would it be?
It would be any song.
Yeah, I bet. That's rad, man. I love that answer. Have you ever written a song sitting on the toilet?
I don't think I have. I may have come up with some really good lyrics, but I don't know if I've sat down with pen and paper. No.
What's your favorite color?
I gotta say, Pelham blue.
Pelham blue, the color of your guitar dude.
My favorite color. It was the color of my bedroom when I was a kid.
I get it. And then last year, in the studio, when you're working on a song, a Foo Fighters track, how do you know it's done? When do you know that I don't have to touch it? We're done.
You just, what, when you get sick of it.
Really?
Well, in a way, it's like, I don't like spending too much time on anything in the studio. It's like, usually the first few takes, that's got the thing that you want. Even if it's imperfect, it's like you get in there and the energy of it, and it's fresh and it's new, and you hit record and you go blast through something. Mm-hmm. I like working on things until it's powerful and it's worth other people hearing. But dude, I'll get to the point sometimes with songs where I'm like, all right, I'm out of love. Like that's it. I'm out of love with this song.
This is it. I'm done with
We're
it.
Done. That's it.
Very cool. Well, Dave, maybe one day I'll see an autographed Dave Grohl guitar hanging up in here. That would be pretty rad. I'm just gonna.
You don't have any more room, dude. Where are you gonna put it? Look at that place.
Right. So right here is an arched window. There's nothing right there. Originally, your painting that you painted for me years ago was gonna go there, but I'm thinking that's where a Dave Grohl autographed guitar should go. I'm just gonna put that.
Okay,
up.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I would love it. Brother, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on this book. It's amazing. I'm having a fantastic time reading it, man. So I hope to see you, Foo Fighters, very soon.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you around.
Bye, brother. Bye.
Bye-bye.